Good afternoon.
Hi, Minister. Mark Ramsey with the Toronto Star here. I'm wondering, given that local public health officials, cities, people with lived experience, they welcome an increased emphasis on treatment, but they say that services like supervised consumption sites are still important. Did you consult with these stakeholders, including cities like the City of Toronto, before making this decision?
I don't think there's any doubt that we cannot have consumption treatment sites be in the same neighborhoods as schools and daycares. We have similar restrictions when it comes to our cannabis shops, and we're strengthening to make sure that that 200-meter barrier is in place moving forward. I think it's really important to keep in mind that one of the things that we have embedded with our announcement is if you have a site that is operating within that 200-meter restriction, you will have to make a decision. You can shut down that site, or you can transition into a heart hub and offer the treatments so that people get out of the addictions.
Thank you for that, but you didn't answer my question if you consulted with cities like the City of Toronto before making this decision. And in addition, I'd like to know, if you don't agree with the concept of supervised consumption sites, what's your plan for the other consumption sites that don't fit the description that you're restricting today?
So in answer to your question, we have had many conversations with community leaders, with municipal leaders, mayors, councillors. So yes, the conversations have been going on for many, many months. I think most of us appreciate that municipal leaders have been looking for a pathway to treat their friends, their neighbors in community, and today's announcement does that.
Minister Ian Bailey from the Globe and Mail. Even as we gather here, there are folks across the street demonstrators who sharply disagree with you. I want to give you a chance to respond. What do you say to folks who believe that people will die, will suffer as a result of these policies you've announced today?
I would say that we have a system that has not worked. We are seeing more issues in our neighborhood, in our municipalities, in our communities. I have heard from parents. I've heard from community leaders. I've heard from mayors. I've heard from business leaders that saying it is getting worse, not better. So what we are doing has not solved the problem, and this opportunity for 19 heart hubs across Ontario to actually bring all of those experts together in those communities, whether they are experts in housing, in health, in mental health, in social services, bringing those agencies and communities, those experts together to make sure they can form the hubs and have that service into treatment, into recovery, is where we are focused.
And as a follow-up, what happens to those who are not interested in treatment, who simply aren't interested in that option?
You know, we've always had individuals who take longer to make a decision to get out of an addictions pathway. We have to make sure that they have those options. You know, continuing to just enable people to use drugs is not a pathway to treatment. And I believe that our government is offering a solution to our municipal partners who, I will say, have been asking for many, many months to have pathways into treatment, to have pathways so that our neighborhoods don't become just a place for people to use drugs, that they go back to where we have communities working together. And I want to see that moving forward, because I firmly believe that as we offer the treatment, as we expand treatment bed options, as we expand youth mental health hubs, as we bring forward this application process later on this month, you're going to see some very innovative and creative solutions that are very much community-driven. And that's what we want to see with these demonstration projects. And then we're going to start to see more of pathway to treatment, not just enabling drug use.
Hi, Mr. Davis Legree from iPolitics. I was wondering, with this announcement, kind of to follow up on Ian's question, if there's been any change in your government's position on involuntary treatment. I know earlier this summer you expressed some concerns, but you also didn't fully rule it out. Has there been any change on that front?
No, I'm willing to look at all the options. What we're bringing forward today is really something that we want all of those experts together to work on. So, as I mentioned previously, when you have a heart hub, you're going to have all of the services that someone needs. Whether today that's a shower, tomorrow it's healthcare, the next day it might be social services, and next week it might be mental health supports. But if we don't offer the services and we don't put those pathways in front of people, then all we're doing is enabling drug use. And I think we can do better.
As a follow-up, as part of this announcement, your government is promising to bring forward legislation that would prohibit municipalities from making decriminalization applications to the federal government. I'm wondering why that is necessary, considering the feds have already said that they will reject all applications that don't have provincial support.
You don't have to look any further than the failed experiment in British Columbia to appreciate why we are embedding in legislation something that we believe very strongly in that there is no safe supply when it comes to illicit drug use.
Hi, Minister. Katie Griffin from CTV News. Are you open to reopening or funding supervised consumption sites in different spaces away from schools, or is this just an effort to reduce the number of sites and reallocate funding?
We are not going to open any additional CTS sites. What we are offering is an opportunity for municipal and community organizations to come together to build an application that is very much based on the needs and the resources that are available in those communities. And that's the 19 heart hubs that I just announced today.
You mentioned Somerset West, that location in your speech. You mentioned the violence. They say they were not consulted when it comes to this. What was the issue with that specific site? And what support are you going to offer these locations if they do choose to attempt to transition into these new hubs? So
the crime stats speak for themselves. And those are collected data points that happen through our municipal police services. What are we offering? A transition into a heart hub? We're offering a pathway to treatment. We're offering to ensure that people can be stabilized and get access to service. And instead of, frankly, simply giving individuals a phone number, we're going to actually give them services in these heart hubs. Look, I know that there are incredible organizations across Ontario working in our communities and in our neighborhoods doing excellent work. If we bring all of those resources together, whether it is in Ottawa, in Toronto, in London, then I believe you will see that comprehensive, all approach, patient-focused approach that is so important to this issue.
Hi, I'm Jessica Owen with Barrie Today. The City of Barrie has had an application open since 2021 for a safe consumption site. So what happens to municipalities that have open applications? Like, do they have to start from scratch, or will they be given priority for the new hub program?
So if memory serves me correct, Barrie actually pulled their application, and I will not speak for the municipal leaders, but it suggests to me that they are very well placed to bring those resources together, bring those organizations together, and submit an application for a heart hub.
Okay, and just as a follow-up, do you anticipate or plan to have the hubs open before you close the existing safe consumption sites?
So I'm not closing. What we are doing is we are offering a transition. So you must, by March of next year, have stopped offering CTS, drug consumption, but we are also offering you the opportunity to transition into the heart hubs. So bringing those applications together, it is exactly why we are opening the application within this month, because we want to make sure that there are no gaps in service.
Thank you.
Hi, Minister Jack Howan from the Trillium. I'm just wondering if 19 is a cap on the hubs, or if there may be more in the future.
Yeah, it's a great question, Jack. So we're going to start with 19 demonstration projects. We're going to look at what the applications involve. I've been very clear about what it cannot use. It cannot be within the 200 meters CTS, of course. The addition to see what we get in the applications will drive a little bit of our decisions on can we look at more. But because they're demonstration projects, it actually gives us an opportunity to do the data collection and the studying to see what ultimately is going to make the biggest difference. I don't think it matters what side of the issue you are on this. It matters that everybody wants to do better. And the Heart Hub model, the 19 demonstration projects that we will ultimately approve, are going to give us that data-driven material and information to see where can we scope and scale moving forward.
And considering the thousands of overdoses at these CTS sites that have been intervened on and reversed, I'm wondering if you've done any estimates as to how many people will die as a result of this decision.
Jack, people are not going to die. They're going to get access to service. You know, I do not call watching someone inject an illicit drug to be healthcare in the province of Ontario. We need to do better, and we can do better. And we're going to do that by ensuring that people who have an addiction, people who have a mental health issue, have a pathway to treatment and to service. And we have partners in community, and we have municipal leaders who are ready to participate in these demonstration projects. And honestly, I am really excited about the applications and the level of involvement that we're going to see in our community and our municipalities.
Hi, Emma Weller with CBC Ottawa. I'm just wondering when these will be open, fully operational for the public to use.
So great question. Using the example of transitioning current CTS sites into a Heart Hub, the likelihood is that that would happen very quickly. The other applications, it will depend on what they bring forward. It could be an existing facility that transitions the work that they do, brings in other partners, and there can be, in some cases, there may be some capital expenditures. But I believe that you will see a number of them being able to transition and move forward very quickly. We've dealt with this problem for a long time. And I want to see these applications quickly being up and running. When we did the expression of interest and expanded primary care in the province of Ontario in February, we had by April hiring going on and new nurse practitioners and new primary care practitioners taking on patients in communities. So I believe because municipalities and community organizations are motivated and very excited about this opportunity, that you will see some application approvals come in the late 2024.
And in terms of the scenario that a current site doesn't want to transfer into a Heart House, let's say Somerset, for example, what are people who are using that service supposed to do in the meantime if their where they rely on is gone, and who knows for how long?
They will need to wind down those operations if they choose not to transition into a Heart Hub by the end of March of 2025. And the applications will have been approved by that point, and people will need to get access and care in other places.
Thank you. Hello, Minister. My name is John Fennick. I'm the owner-publisher of the Review Mirror newspaper out of Westport. I also chase ads, and I do a little journalism, and I sweep up the office at the end of the day and lock the door. It's a fairly small operation. My question is this. These ideas sound wonderful, and the implementation of them will be really exciting to watch, I think. When is the assessment evaluation paper coming out? I'm kind of really big on, okay, we've done this, let's assess it, evaluate it, and what works and what doesn't. Is there a date for that to be released?
So the application portal process will open in August, so this month. The application portal will close by October of 2024, and depending on how quickly those operations will open, they have a 3-year life cycle, right now funding cycle, and we will be able to start doing assessments very quickly because you can track the data on who is actually going into treatment. You can track the data on who is coming in through that door and looking for service, whether it is primarily healthcare, whether it is primarily for mental health or addiction services, whether it is for supportive housing. So all of that data, which is really important to drive future decisions, we will have available to us. Thank you.
All right, that concludes today's media availability. Thank you.